you go back to like your primary school and you go back to your school and like who's the fastest in the class,
right.
And thankfully I was the fastest in my class. And the sports day in Marley Park, because I went to school right beside Marley Park, that was always, you get the nerves. That's my first kind of taste of, I suppose, a little bit of that nervous tension and making sure that because I wanted to be the fastest in the class. And I always remember there was a new guy who was now one of my best mates, but he came into our school and he played football with a few other friends, and the lads were like saying, "Oh, this guy's really fast, this guy's really fast." I can remember thinking, he's not going to be faster than me, competitiveness came, but that's when I think, I not realised I had a talent, but I knew I kind of stood out a little bit different. And I can remember teachers kind of put me forward to go to like the Cummin Bun School in Belfield and then Santry. I always remember one teacher saying, one day, hopefully in the Olympics in 2000, we'll see David. And I can remember her saying that to me, and so I didn't even know really what it was about. But I always remember that teacher that said that to me, and kind of, I suppose looking back now in hindsight, maybe they saw something in me,
That's lovely. And did you play any other sports?
I did a lot of other sports, played a lot of soccer, played a lot of GAA, all through my youth, all the way up to 19 is when I packed in the GAA, so it was quite late.
So you were doing both?
I was doing both. I played soccer with Brough Rovers up till I was about 16.
Okay.
Packed that in, and then just had athletics and GAA, and then it was funny, like, because I loved playing soccer and I played with my friends and lads I was in school with, but I kind of began to struggle a little bit in terms of like getting a game on a team and stuff like that, and then it kind of got to the point where it was around junior cert that I obviously have the exams, but then I was trying to do 3 sports and I wasn't really doing that well at one. So I can remember ringing the manager going, "Look, I think I'm going to step away from playing the soccer," and he was like trying to encourage me to keep at it and things, and I did a little bit longer, but I was doing better at GAA and I was doing better at running, and I think I just decided then, I'll go with these two, and then obviously running kind of got a little bit better and decided to pack in GAA.
And then in secondary school, did you realise kind of what running event you wanted to do, or how did that?
Again, that's a good question, because I did an awful lot of events growing up as a kid. Like I was doing the shot put, I was doing everything, and you just kind of find your way. I was doing cross country, I was doing like distance on the track, then down to sprints, and I actually did that all the way up to my leaving cert. So again, it was quite late, because I started doing, when I went to Benilda's, they had a great tradition of cross country running. So, been a runner, right, I'll do that. And during the winter it was all the hard slog, the miles and the cross country, and then when the springtime came around I started doing more kind of sprint work. And I kind of went first to third year, and I soon kind of realised I'd gone from saying being a scorer on the team, so say 4 people out of 6 to score on the cross country team. There was a time when I was like 1, 2, and then suddenly I began kind of like number 4, number 5, number 6. I wasn't a scorer on the team, but I kept at it, and that was the thing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, I suppose, that little team element, and which is quite unique in running. And as I got a little bit older, I kind of found that when the springtime came around, I was getting better. I was stronger and I was fitter, and I obviously had the speed. So the cross country then was kind of complementing the springtime and the summer side of it. So that's why I kept that going all the way up to my leaving cert. But I understood then, I'm not going to be a distance runner, a middle distance runner. I'm going to be somewhere in the region of 400 to 800, because I had that speed and I also had decent endurance. So that's kind of how I kind of fell into the fall.
And you mentioned Benilda's there. When you're doing, and you said you were doing a lot of sports, for your junior cert and leaving certificate, did you find yourself extremely structured and you had to be, or looking back now, would you have done anything differently? Or?
No, because I hear this kind of this thing when it comes to exams, and people are packing in sport because they've got exams. Like, if I'm brutally honest, I think you should always keep exercise going throughout any kind of stressful period, and particularly your exams, junior cert, leaving cert, is vitally important. And I think I look at that from the real world is about managing various things and spinning 5 or 6 plates at once, and I think it's important to kind of to learn how to balance things out a bit yourself. So yes, your exams and your study are going to be stressful periods of your life, but by getting out and keeping your activity going, I think adds a lot of value to both like your physical and mental attitude towards your studies. And it's also great that you can just have that release. So if you're in a team sport or an individual sport, whatever it is, getting out and exercising, and the research is there, the dopamine and all that sort of stuff, but getting around and being social with people is great. And I think that can switch you off from the stresses that, oh God, this exam's coming up, or I have to study this. And even if it's just an hour or even half an hour, it can just help kind of switch you off and almost give you a bit of balance. And I think sometimes I always found that I worked well in those situations. Like I worked well in terms of getting a little bit of work done, say the homework done, but I would never miss training sessions. Like obviously when the exams came around, yes, but like leading into it throughout that whole year, I would always try and kind of keep my exercise and training going, and then obviously trying to get the work done in scale as well.
And what subjects do you remember doing for Leaving Cert?
Leaving Cert, what did I do? So you have your Irish, English, Maths, and then I did geography, biology, and business.
Brilliant.
They're my three,
And would you have liked to do the new PE?
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Like, you know, if I could go back and let's say I had, there was everything on the curriculum.
Right,
There was your PE, there was, like, I don't know, kind of home ec, stuff like that. They'd be the two that I definitely go to. I just think, in terms of what you can learn from things like food, like home ec, and learn about food, and like maybe kind of, you know, learning more about that and the effect it has on the body. You know, I think that's great, because then you get an understanding of what food's all about. I go back into St. Benilla's each term and I do a cooking class with the TYs, and you know, it's amazing that you could pick up a piece, some veg, and ask people what it is and they wouldn't know. You know, and it's quite astounding. Like, and even getting the basic understanding of like your protein, your carbohydrates, and sugar and stuff like that. You know, we were never taught that. And I think that's something that like I'd be really interested in if I was to go back, and likewise with PE, but also understanding, you know, not just the physical side, but like what it does to both your physical and mental health, and you know, the role that then food would play into that.
So when